The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John.
Glory to you, Lord.
Mary Magdalene stayed outside the tomb weeping. And as she wept, she bent over into the tomb and saw two angels in white sitting there, one at the head and one at the feet, where the body of Jesus had been. And they said to her, "Woman, why are you weeping?" She said to them, "They have taken my Lord, and I don't know where they laid him." When she had said this, she turned around and saw Jesus there, but did not know it was Jesus. Jesus said to her, "Woman, why are you weeping? Whom are you looking for?" She thought it was the gardener and said to him, "Sir, if you carried him away, tell me where you laid him, and I will take him." Jesus said to her, "Mary." She turned and said to him in Hebrew, "Rabboni," which means teacher. Jesus said to her, "Stop holding on to me, for I have not yet ascended to the Father. But go to my brothers and tell them, I am going to my Father and your Father, to my God and your God." Mary went and announced to the disciples, "I have seen the Lord," and then reported what he had told her. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
When somebody who is close to us dies or passes away, it will always be painful on our part, and it will take a lot of time for us to grieve over the death of somebody close to us. For some people it would take 1 year, for others it would take 2 years. It would really take a long time. The grieving period is very crucial in our life. Why? Because it is like a make or break thing. Is either we know how to surrender our own lives and surrender our life to God, or we keep on holding on to something that we can no longer hold on. And sometimes we will just be clutching at straws. Sometimes we will just be holding on to nothing. But the fact is, we need to move on. And this is a very normal reaction among the disciples of Jesus and among the women who were close to Jesus. Mary Magdalene, Mary, the mother of Jesus. And when we think of the scene of the Gospel, Mary Magdalene weeping at the tomb of Jesus, we need to reflect also on the words of the two angels. "Woman, why are you weeping?" And the words of the two angels were repeated by Jesus. "Woman, why are you weeping?" And the very spontaneous response of Mary Magdalene was, "Sir, if you carried him away, tell me where you laid him, and I will take him." They have taken my Lord, and I don't know where they laid him. They have taken my Lord. Mary Magdalene wept because she thought they have taken away her Lord. She wept because she felt that people took away Jesus from her. And this is one of the very dramatic scenes in the gospel, because we are talking about weeping. Remember, Jesus wept when Lazarus died. And now you have this woman, Mary Magdalene, weeping at the tomb of Jesus. When we weep, it means we lost someone or we lost something. And oftentimes our tears are very cheap. We cry because we have lost our wallet. We cry because we have lost our identification cards, our ATM cards. We cry because we have lost our laptop. We cry because we have lost our job. We cry because we quarreled with our boss. We cry for many things. And yet, if Jesus is crucified, or even just at the thought of the crucifixion of Jesus, we do not weep at all. Why don't we weep seeing Jesus crucified? We have lost the sense of weeping, mourning, grieving over someone whom we have lost. Perhaps we have not developed a real intimate relationship with Jesus yet. And that is why when we look at the cross, it is just like a decoration. It is just like a relic of the past, a symbol, and nothing more. And we are not driven anymore to mourn or to grieve and to weep for the death of someone we truly love. It talks about priorities. If your priority is your laptop, your wallet, your investment, and you lost your laptop, your wallet, or your investment, then you cry for its loss. But if you lose somebody you love, your husband, your wife, your children, your child, then it means that you truly love that person because you weep. The thing is, why don't we weep? Knowing that Jesus was crucified and we had lost Him. Secondly, there is an important way out, an important connection to our weeping. On the one hand, it is important to weep. On the one hand, it is important to grieve over somebody we have lost. But on the other hand, we don't have to dwell on that grieving period for so long a time. That means to say, we need also to pick up the shattered pieces of our lives, to rise up, so to speak, in order for us to move on. There was this great Indian poet by the name Rabindranath Tagore, and he says, if you cry for losing the sun, your tears will not allow you to see the stars. The sun is very important to you, yes, but if you keep on crying just because you have lost the sun, then at night your tears will cover you, will cover your eyes, and you won't be able to see the stars anymore. And that is why, in this context, we need to consider that yes, Mary Magdalene was right in terms of the normal reaction of weeping, the normal reaction over to somebody who is so close to him and yet who has now died, was passed away. Of course that is normal. Everything is normal there. But then you don't have to dwell on the loss all the time. You don't have to dwell on the loss forever. And that is what distinguishes Christians from non-Christians, believers from non-believers. We believers hold on to our Christian faith, our faith in the resurrection of Jesus. Notice that in grieving over the passing away of Jesus, she found Jesus. Her tears somehow were not able to cover her eyes. Why? Because she listened, she heard the word of Jesus, Mary. And when she heard, immediately she realized it was Jesus. There might be moments in our life that we may not be able to see God, but perhaps we can hear the Word of God. We may not be able to see God, Jesus in person, but perhaps, and more importantly, we can hear the Word of Jesus. We can listen to the Word of Jesus. So it is not just about seeing Jesus, it's also about hearing the Word of Jesus, listening to the Word of Jesus. It could have been worse in the case of Mary Magdalene. It could have been very, very desperate on the part of Mary Magdalene if she didn't hear the word uttered, her name uttered by Jesus. If she dwelt only on the losing character, on the character of loss, that sense of loss, then it would have been very difficult on the part of Mary Magdalene to move on. But because Mary Magdalene heard her name, at once she recognized Jesus. And then the beautiful statement came. Mary said to the disciples, I have seen the Lord. I have seen the Lord. So there are moments in life that we feel we have lost Jesus and we are weeping because we have lost Jesus. But on the other side, on the other hand, there are also moments in our life when it is very clear for us that we have seen the hand of God, when we see the hand of Jesus. One time I went to my spiritual director and asked him, why do I feel this way? Why do I feel so dry and empty in my spiritual life? And then he told me, the fact that you don't feel Jesus now means that you felt His presence before. And I was awakened by that realization. The fact that you don't feel the presence of Jesus now means that you felt His presence before. Then go back to that memory of His presence. Don't dwell on the loss of the presence of Jesus, but go back to the memory of how you felt Jesus, how you saw the hand of God in your life. And so Mary Magdalene can become a good teacher for us. She's the first proclaimer of the resurrection, actually. And she wants to tell us, number one, yes, Jesus is very important. Very important. He is so important to us that we should weep. We should learn to weep over the loss of Jesus in our lives. When we commit sin, we lose Jesus. We should learn to weep over that sense of loss or losing Jesus. But then again, in our life, there are times when we can see the hand of God so clearly. Then, we can say together with Mary Magdalene, I have seen the Lord. I have seen the Lord. In your little goodness, in your little good works that you do to people, that you do to others, and you do for others, perhaps they will see the hand of Jesus in you. And that is very important for us. And it is called Christian witnessing. All good gestures, all good deeds, all good words will always redound to the glory of God. And therefore, people will see the hand of God through our good works.